Hello, everyone! I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to another adventure in GregTech New Horizons. So, you may have noticed that we have a new path here outside of the base, and this new path leads to the location where we are going to be constructing our multifarm, which we've been working towards the last couple of episodes. We actually got all the items we need in order to build it, and today we are going to be building it and hopefully being able to make it actually function. So, we've got a lot to do in order to actually get this thing up and running. I've already been doing quite a bit of work preparing for this, and, well, let's just get right into it. So, over here is going to be the location where we are going to have our multi-farm. So, what I've done is we have this spot right here. Now, this hole in the middle is where the actual multi-farm kind of multi-block itself is going to go. And this spot around it is the actual working area. So our multi-farm is going to be a 3x4x3 structure. And it's going to be in this spot right here. And because of the 3x4x3, what we're going to have is its working area is going to be, I believe, 7 blocks out in the 4 corners. And then you have to go basically diagonal from there. So basically everything we have inside of this kind of area here is going to be the working area for the multi-farm itself. Now, in order to actually get it working, we do need to get a couple of things still done. So now, the first thing is actually, I built the roof we have for the basement's actually a little bit too high. So we're going to have the multi-farm elevated by maybe a block, I think. So it's a little bit different from how I thought it was going to look. But what we're going to do is put this here. So I can put that there. And we'll put the top layer on here for now. And I think I can put a torch there. That'll work fine. And that's going to be the first of the 4 layers. And normally we would have the dirt. I was thinking we were going to have like a layer of dirt around here. I would have to fill this in. But now what we need to do is 1 block under this, we actually need to dig out this dirt and replace it with stone bricks. So let's go ahead and do that. Should be all of this stuff right here. Easier to get the edges first and then go for the actual center. Alright, there we go, and now I should just be able to do this. Alright, lovely. Alright, so we got that done. And now what we need to do is we need to fill the space that had that dirt with the stone bricks now. And the places we have these stone bricks is basically going to be telling the actual multi-farm where to actually plant things. I don't have to put them in all these spots. I could actually extend this path over to the multi-farm itself. If I wanted to, I could put like some other block here, like planks or something. But this right here, putting these here, is basically telling it that I want it to farm on top of these blocks. So, I'm going to try to do that. At least that's how I understood it. So, I could just use the builder's one, couldn't I? Let's grab that. Actually, I need to be careful about that. Don't want it to go there. Alright, there we go. That should work. Do I even have enough stone bricks? I think we're going to need to get a couple of more of them, actually. Alright, let's go grab a couple more stone bricks, actually. Have some... Actually, no stone's what we need. Probably only needed 1 stack. And where is my chisel? There it is. Alright, there's some stone bricks. Alright, so let's finish putting these down here. Alright, so we got all of that down right there. Now, we need to go ahead and actually finish constructing this guy right here. So, what we're going to do for that is, I have an actual secret entrance into the basement right here, and we're going to finish... Oops. There we go. I'm going to come down here. So, I've been doing a bit of work down here trying to get things prepared, and we're going to try and get this thing running. So, that right there is the first layer there, and now we need to go ahead and build up the next part. Again, this thing is 4 blocks tall, so this is the second layer. And the important thing is that this second layer, again, touches those stone bricks we just placed down. And now we'll go ahead with the third layer, which I think will just be this again. And then the final layer. So this is the part where we have to think about what I want to do with this. So we have all these other special blocks we made last time. The farm valve, the farm control, farm gearbox, farm hatch. And we made these last time. The farm hatch is the ones that's going to do the items. So we need 2 of those to input some items because we are going to need to do that in order to get this thing running. And then the other one's going to be the output, the actual wood and stuff that we're going to want to get from this thing. The gearbox is going to be for powering the thing. The farm valve is going to be the supply water. And then the farm control is for redstone control. And I figure we might as well just add it on just in case. So what I was thinking was the control was going to go right in the center. The valve is, let's see, I think we're going to put the valve right here. And the gearbox is going to go right there. And then I think the hatch, yeah, I think we can put that right there. That'll work. And then the other hatch, this one might be a little bit more subject to change. But for the moment, let's just put you there for now. And then we'll fill in the rest of these with normal farm blocks. And... back, let's see if we can actually check it. Yep, there we go. So that means it has formed. So now we actually need to work on getting everything else set up. So now that we've actually got this thing functioning, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need to fill this thing with water. We're going to need to give this thing power. And then we're going to need to give this thing the saplings that we want to grow. And we're also going to need to give this thing dirt. And we're also going to need to give this thing fertilizer. So we've got a couple of things we need to do. So what we're going to need to do first, I think, is... actually, let's do the power first, since I've got all of that on me right now. That's actually relatively simple to do, I think. So, we have our gearbox here. This is going to be our turbine right there, and I'm going to face you that direction, and then I'll connect the cable. Should work, I think. Connect that, and then we just need to get this pipe over here connected up. See if we can get that done. Turn that off. Yeah, the hollow glasses, they're good with the items, but with the pipes, it does kind of get in the way a little bit. Alright, so connect that up. I know you don't have to do it like this, but I do like to do it for every pipe. Let's see if that works. Yep, that's filling with steam. Are you getting power? Looks like you are. Yep, you have power. Wonderful. Not sure why it only has that much, though, and it's not getting the maximum out. Now, I will say this also. The only thing I don't know is how much power is this thing actually going to use? That is actually a valid question here, isn't it? We'll have to see, because that actually seems to be using up a lot of power. Oh, that's the reason it's not getting more power. Whoops. Okay, never mind. Yep, lay out your farmland, so... Yep, smooth sandstone bricks or stone bricks create a platform the farm will build on. So that's what we just did up there. Alright, so now the thing's running. Alright, so that's why we weren't getting more power. So let's go ahead and just put in the arrows like this. And there we go. Alright, so we've already got the power taken care of. That's all done. And now I'm going to try and deal with the water. So this is an interesting thing with this thing. So this thing, apparently, the amount of water it consumes is based off the time since the last rainfall. So right now it says 50% hydration requirement. The longer it takes till the next rainfall, the longer it's going to be, or the more water we're going to need to put into this thing. So that's led to quite a conundrum. Let's go to sleep quickly because it is nighttime. So one single water tank, which we have been using for the most part at this point in the playthrough. We have that for all of our, solar steam production. We've been using those on the roof. We had a couple others, I think, in some other parts at some point, but I think the only ones we have right now are on the roof. But just having that isn't going to be enough anymore. We need a better source of water in order to supply the multifarm right here. So what I've been thinking is there is a quest in the multi-block goals tab to make something called a water pump. And that's what we're going to do in order to feed the water into the multi-farm. And we may even get more water than I know what to do with from this. I have no idea how much water we're actually going to be using in the multi-farm, but this is going to be quite good right here. So this is a multi-block structure that does have two tiers, much like the other Steam multi-blocks. It has either a bronze one or a steel one. We are going to go with the steel one. And the reason I'm going to go with the steel one is it actually gives us double the amount of water for the same amount of steam. So the way this thing works is basically you just give it 1,500 liters of steam per second, and it's going to give us a tremendous amount of water. So I believe it's going to be... Let's see, how much water does it give us? Large amounts of water. So, all right, generates tier times humidity times 1,500 liters per second of water. So again, this is a pretty good biome. We're in a 90%, sometimes it's 100%, and it's going to be steel. So this should generate a lot of water is the point. Now, in order to actually get this thing running, I've got most of the things already, but we do need a few more items. So we need to make the actual water pump, but we also need this ULV output hatch. So this thing right here, we have two ways of making it. I can craft it, or we could use the assembler, which looks a lot simpler. Just some empty cell with fine glue. I think we have a little bit of that. There's just a little bit of that stuff. Do I have any in here? Yeah, we should have enough. Let's grab something for that. And then we also going to need to make ourselves this ULV machine hull. We actually don't have this, so we're going to need to make that. So let's see actually if I can make that. Right, so we need the ULV machine casing. I can do that. And what was the other thing it said it wanted? Lead cables. We do need... Oh, lead wires. Alright, that's simple enough. I can do that. Put you into the wire mill. Oh, circuit 1. Should get that. How long does that take? 5 seconds? Go. We just needed 2 for that. We have plenty of lead, so that's not really an issue for us. And then the lead cables, and that should be everything we need for the ULV machine hull. And then let's go ahead and grab ourselves a cell. In fact, we'll need 2 because I need 1 of them for the refined glue. Is that not working? Okay, maybe that won't work like that. Let's just do it with the large cell then. Oh, this is different, isn't it? I think I need the universal cell. Well, that's fine. I'll get it out anyways. Alright, so what we're going to need to make now is we need to make this output hatch ULV. So we need 1 cell, circuit 2, a little bit of refined glue. So I'll just put you in for now, drop you in, and drop you in. Off we go. And we'll get that in 24 seconds. So let's put this stuff back in here for now. Put you away, and also let's go ahead and... Actually, no, we'll hold on to the dirt because we're going to need that. I was going to put that dirt away, but we're going to need it. So let's put the cell away that I grabbed. Okay. Alright, so there we go. That should be our output hatch ULV. So now we have that. And we also need to go ahead then and make the water pump itself. I think we have everything. Nope, we're missing bronze gear, which we now have. Wrench is on its last legs, but it's alright because I do have an extra one prepared. Alright, that should be the water pump itself. And that should complete that quest. Yep, digging deep for water, and let's go ahead then and assemble this thing. So this is the next part we need to. So this is, again, how we're going to supply the water to the multi-farm. So let's go head down here. Alright, so this area right here is where we're actually going to build this thing. So we're actually going to build this thing on the surface, and I just thought it looked nice right here. This brick stuff right here is a base for this thing. It's not really part of the structure, I just thought it looked nice in a base. So how we're going to make this thing is, and everything else for this is in here, by the way. So we have our steam hatch, we have the frame boxes, and the primitive wooden casings. These things are just not difficult to make, but it's just kind of a lot of stuff. You need wood screws, wood gears, wood frame boxes. All of this is just sticks and, let's say, planks, basically. So not really hard to get that stuff. Let's go ahead and do this. So how are we going to make this? We have a water pump here, and we're going to need to put all of these casings on the bottom part. So I did plan this out. Let's go ahead and break that chest as well, since I don't need that. So what we're going to do is, well, the control's going to go there for the water pump. And then we're going to have our wood casings like this. And let's do everything else first before I put the other things in. So we have... That looks simple enough. Just put this like this. I believe that was what it was. Alright, so we got that. So let's go head down here now. I think that looks quite nice, actually. Yeah, I quite like the way that looks. Alright, so let's head down here now. And what we're going to do now is we need to put in the output hatch and the steam hatch. So this thing is going to need steam. So we're going to put our steam hatch there. That's going to be where we get the steam. And then the output hatch is where the water's going to come from. And we're going to put that right there. So now what we need to do is we need to feed this thing some steam. So go ahead and start piping things over there. Wrench is going to break any second now. There it goes. But we do have our extra one back here. And let's see, a couple of more pipes will be needed. Alright, what is happening now that I've just given this thing some steam? Let's take a look. It is running fine, humidity 90%. Oh, I need to press the power button. Ooh, interesting. Alright, so that thing just filled up with water. So this thing won't run if the output is completely filled, but I don't really think that's too much of an issue. So this thing shouldn't have to run too often then, so... Well, we'll see, it shouldn't be too bad. So how we're going to get the water out is we have the bronze fluid pipes, and I may need a couple more of these, but... We have those there. Kind of like that noise, actually. That's kind of a nice noise. I didn't want to do it like that. Get a couple of blocks so I can get up there. Whoops. There we go. Where's my pickaxe gone? There it is. Alright, so we're gonna bring... Actually... No, it's fine if I do it like that. That works. Do that. Alright, now we can just start kind of... Yeah, I'm gonna need I need to get a couple of more bronze pipes, but... Yeah. Need a few more of these. Turn that off again. Alright, so let's go back upstairs, then grab a couple more bronze pipes. In fact, I think I'm going to have to make a couple, because I think I've already used all of them. Let's see. Yep, so I don't have any more bronze pipes. We can go ahead and get a couple more made up. Let's just do all of that. I think we use these to make the pumps anyways. The electric pumps, that is. Alright, so let's head back down here with this stuff. And this should be our water supplied once we get that done. Don't think that... that won't cause an issue. It'd be actual water that'd cause an issue. Yeah, I'm just thinking because we have water coming right next to a turbine right there, but that's not a problem, I don't think. So, I have my valve right there. Whoops. Right, so we got that there. Let's go ahead and do that, and that should be water. Yes, water is going into this thing, and it is now full of water. Lovely. Alright, so we got our water, we got our power, and now I believe all that's left to do is actually supply this thing with the items that we need. And if we've done everything correctly, which is a big if, but we still need to connect this thing. Actually, this is already ready, isn't it? Let's see. This is going to be the output. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to automatically throw it in here or not. That, I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. We'll have to see. But, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully it will. This pipe right here, by the way, I don't know if I showed you this yet, but this comes down to here, and this is actually where we're going to be processing all the wood. So I've got some bales connected here, so hopefully this will be where the wood goes. We'll see. But now, all that's left to do, I think, is to try and hook everything up. So, let's see what happens. And let's go to sleep first as well. Alright, so actually, I didn't even grab anything yet. We need saplings. I have the dirt. I don't know if I have enough dirt, so maybe let's grab a little bit more. But I do need the saplings first. Which ones was it? The rubber tree saplings. I'll just grab as many as I can. We need... I'll just grab a little bit more dirt just in case we need it. And then we also need fertilizer, which I think I have a bit in here. Thought I had more than that for some reason. But, guess we don't. Oh, in fact, that was a quest for some reason that I never completed. Take a look at that. Didn't know that was a quest, actually. Ah, this one right here. Speed up plant growth. Alright, interesting. Alright, so let's head on up here and put this stuff right here. So, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to give this thing dirt, which goes into this slot. The saplings are going to go into this slot, and this is where we put the fertilizer, and I think once I put this in, it should function. Let's see what happens. Yep, there we go. Yep, there we go. So as you can see, we are starting to see it start planting the various saplings. So it's got kind of 4 sections of working areas, which is denoted right here, but this doesn't really matter for us at this point. And in fact, we're actually already getting rubber wood. So the trees grow, and it chops them down for us, and I believe the saplings do get replanted. Not replanted, but it picks up the saplings and fills them in into this thing. So we get more saplings into here. And all of that is quite good. So water seems to be quite good. Now, we are going to have to work on figuring out how we're going to get more fertilizer into this. We're going to have to automate that and automate the production of getting that in there. We might need to do the same with dirt, but look at that. We're getting a ton of rubber wood. And I might want to get out of here first. And it looks like it's also gone through all of the saplings. So as it's chopping down trees, it is going to go ahead and grab the extra saplings, and it will then plant them. So yeah, it looks like that has worked. We have succeeded in that. And it does appear as well that... Well, now it stopped. Alright, let's go take a look and see what's going on down there. It was taking out what it looked like, so... Let's go investigate. We're gonna have to toy around with this thing a bit to make sure it's working, but so far so good. Seem to be doing good on Steam. Power doesn't seem to be an issue. Alright, that seems to have stopped, and why has that stopped? Let's first check and see what's happening down below. Alright, so nothing has come down into here yet. Maybe it wasn't taking it out. Maybe I was mistaken when I said that. So, alright, let's try a conveyor module on the pipe and see if we can get stuff out that way. Let's see, where's my conveyor module? There's a conveyor module. Oh, and also, I need to grab a lever as well, because that's for the redstone control. I don't really know if we're going to need to turn this thing off or not, but in case we need to for whatever reason. That's why we have that control thing. believe a lever would turn it off, but let's go ahead then and add a conveyor to this guy. Hopefully that will get the stuff out. So, yeah, we already got 50 wood. And set you to import. See what happens there. Hopefully. Let's see. Also, where's this? This is the farm control. So if I put this lever here. Let's see. Actually, this is set to import right here. No, it took it. There we go. Alright, so I got that thing correct, and let's actually make sure that this went to its intended destination first. Yes, it did. Lovely. So we have our wood finally. So let me go ahead and lock that. So now we have our rubber wood being taken now into the base. Perfect. So it looks like this is working as I intended it to. Yep, you can even hear it right now doing stuff right there. And if I want to turn it off, I think I just flip this and it'll turn off, I think. Yep, there we go. No water, no fertilizer, no farmland. And if I turn that back on, yeah. So that means that's working as well. So it looks like everything seems to be working as intended. So a couple of things I still need to do. I need to get the fertilizer at least figured out. I'm not going to do that just yet. This should last us a bit. And also, if I need to get some more fertilizer right now, I can just make it. It's not too hard to make. We need sand, wood pulp, dirt, and some water in order to function. So that shouldn't be too difficult to do. The water itself seems to be holding on. Power doesn't seem to be too bad. And, yeah, I'm quite happy with this, actually. You can already see that the hydration requirement seems like it's already gone up. It was like 50% at first, now it's up to 100%, so that is going to continue increasing. I don't know how high it actually is going to go, but we'll see. But, yeah, this is working quite good. Let's go see how much of that thing's filled in. Has it filled in every single spot yet? Yeah, it sure looks like it has. Oh, no, it's missing a couple of spots right here, but that shouldn't be too difficult to do. Yeah, there are also going to be a couple of cases like that one where some saplings are going to be on the edges. They're going to probably fall off into here, where it won't collect them in that case, but that's only going to be for the edges. So, I don't think that's too big of a deal. It's only a couple of saplings. Logs, I don't think it'll happen to. But, you know, like the trees, like over the edges or something like that. But that's fine if that happens. So yeah, I think we've got this thing functioning. We're getting our wood. Put this extra sapling in here as well. I don't know if it's going to go through more of the dirt or not. I'm not quite sure, but the fertilizer, it doesn't seem to be using a terrible amount of that stuff, and we're getting a lot of wood. How much do we have already? It also helps us that those rubber trees grow so quickly. They grow really fast normally anyways, so let's see how much we already got. Yeah, look at that, 134 rubber wood logs. Very nice, very nice. Quite happy with this. So, that was the first step of the plan. Well, second step, I guess. First step was actually getting the entire thing set up with the multifarm. This was now the second step, now that we actually have the rubber wood coming in, and then the next part is to turn this rubber wood into actual rubber. So that's what we're going to probably do next time, and I have a lot more work I still need to do about that, because we do need to set up our power down here. I've got this tank already set up, but I still need to finish working on this part down here. Well, when I say finish working on this, basically I just need to expand a little lower, I think, so I have a little bit more space, and then we'll just put some pipes and stuff. This is mostly for pipes anyways. But I do need to get some pipes extended from here all the way over to there, because we're going to need quite a few machines in order to make our dream of having a bunch of rubber come true. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I'm quite happy with how that multi-farms turned out. It seems like everything is functioning as I had hoped. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this, actually. We got the water coming in, we got the power coming in. We seem to have enough power for all of this to work, so yeah. Don't think those ocelots are going to cause us any problems, but yeah, it looks like we've got everything. Why have you not been chopping anything anymore? Hold on a minute, let's go take a look. Just noticed that that thing is For some reason not chopping. Go back up and see. Well, I just heard something. Oh, no, it has. Okay, maybe it was just delayed a bit. All right, well, looks like we've got everything with this thing up and running then. Yeah, I think the way it works, actually, is that it goes kind of in, like, a circle. So, it kind of starts on one side, then goes to the next. I don't want to actually stand in here, because the trees might grow on top of me, actually. But, yeah, I think that's the way the thing pretty much works. So, I think it's going around a circle. Eventually, the circle will reach this spot here, and then it will chop this tree down. Eventually, it'll get to it. That one's grown as well. Yeah, see, it got that one, and then is it going to go for the next one, maybe? No, it did that one. Oh, now it's getting that one as well. All right, well, I'm not sure exactly how it orders all this stuff around. Now, I think one way I could also go ahead and increase the speed of the chopping of the trees and stuff, I think if I add another gearbox, I could do that. So, you know, maybe I could do that if I want to. I might make a, I don't know if we need another turbine. Maybe I just connect this turbine to it. Not quite sure about that, but anyway, so yeah, I'm really happy with this. Seems like we're getting everything functioning. The water's good. Power seems good. We're getting tons of wood. So, yeah. So, quite happy with that. Before we end off, though, let's go ahead and claim some of our quests, because we did complete a few today. We did get this one, Digging Deep for Water, which, oh, that gives me more bronze fluid pipes. How convenient. Not that I need them right now. Ooh, 3 steam age loot bags. And then we also got that other one, I think, with a fertilizer. This one here. Speed up your plant growth so we can get some crop sticks, diamond hoe, or loot bag IC2 crops. Let's take that one. Alright, so we could turn these into a LV1. Is there anything I'd want from this at this point? Let's take a look. Yeah. Probably not. Let's go ahead and turn this one to an LV1. Why not? Just get a little bit of an LV1 to the Steam. I think we're past Steam Age loot bags. Let's go to sleep as well while we wait for that, and then we'll go ahead and open up our rewards for today. Alright, so there's our LV loot bag, and we also have the IC2 crops one. So let's see what we get from that one first. Oh, we got a couple of things. We got a weeding trowel. Alright. I think we had this already. Had it somewhere. Yeah, I don't know where, but I'm almost positive we had that. We also got 5 clay buckets, which we don't need, and an iron ore berry. And then we also have this LV loot bag, which we get a fan and steel hammer. We had a fan as well, I believe. I think I have one over here. Yep, there it is. I'll put another one right there. Why not? Alright, so we got the multi-farm set up and operational, and I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. It looks like everything is functioning as intended. So we got that going, and next time, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go and carry on with our plan to get lots and lots of rubber, and we're going to start using this rubber wood by making a bit of a processing chain so that we can get a ton of molten rubber. So that's what we're going to try and do next time. I've got a lot of work in order to actually get to that point still, but yeah, I'm going to be working on that, and we'll come back and we'll do that next time. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.